fact that there's like braid hair all over my bed is very concerning. How do I even talk when I tell you I am uncomfortable? Actually, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just like, how do we start? Where do we go? Hi, I'm Anna. There's just certain topics I like to talk about. So I did this before. I did a video, I did 2 of these I believe, where I was saying like I'm 28 and I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. Let's just have a cute little chat, shall we? This is not a podcast, okay? Think of it more as like a video diary between 2 pals, 2 besties, 2 cuties, okay? You guys are like, so basically a podcast? And I don't have anything to do with my hands, so I'm just like, I don't know. Recently, I've been thinking about dating again, right? And, you know, dating, but not in the sense of like, oh, I'm so lonely, like I want someone. It was actually in the sense of like, I am single, I'm a single Pringle, and I'm actually happy about it, but like I mean it, like I'm not like lying. You know, some people they're like, oh my gosh, I love being single, and then like they go home and they're like which, side note, that has actually happened to me before. I know, we're so cute. I met with like one of my friends and she was telling me about like how like her love life at the time was just going so well, and she met this amazing guy and they were just like so cute and it was like perfect kind of. And at that time I thought I was like happily single, but on the way home I was, of course I was happy for my friend, but I was also like really sad about my current situation. So I started crying when I was driving home. So I am the person that I am talking about. When you say you're happy but then you're crying, yeah, that was me like, what, a few years ago. So if that is you right now, do not sweat, okay? Don't be like, you know, don't be sad. It's fine. It's fine. Oh yeah, we're on my bed, by the way, if you didn't notice it. Look at my little pictures on the wall. Yeah, basically we're gonna be talking about I'm single and I'm happy, and I actually mean it, and how I got here, and I guess some struggles that I face while being a single Pringle, but also I still have a desire to like be in a relationship, and like just how to date in this hookup culture world, because that is hard. For me personally, I feel as though I've gotten to a place where singleness like equals joy. Like singleness and joy kind of go hand in hand. I stopped looking at my singleness as like, oh my gosh, I'm so like a problem, which I feel like a lot of people, a lot of women do that, and a lot of men as well, but they look at their singleness. I'll just speak for the girls because like, you know, I'm a girl. I think a lot of women, when, especially if they've been single for a long time, me, I have never had a boyfriend ever, so I have credentials. I believe a lot of women think that singleness is like a bad thing, and which is due to their own insecurities, but also because of like society. If you're part of a church, sometimes church people can, you know, look at singleness as being like, what's wrong with you? It's just society. We're taught that like women, you should be married at a certain age, you should be in a relationship, and if you're not, especially for like a few years, people are like, well, like what's wrong with you? Like what is wrong with you? That can also have us as women thinking that, you know, singleness is a bad thing. Like, why am I single? Oh my gosh, I'm single because I'm undesirable, because men don't like me, because I'm ugly, because I'm fat. Ugh. And I've had those thoughts before, and it wasn't until I came back to Christ, because I am a Christian. Hi other Christians, and hi my non-Christian babes, how are we all doing? Struggling? I know. It wasn't until I came back to like, I took my relationship with God seriously, I started to shift my perspective in regards to my singleness, and I stopped looking at it as like this curse, and I actually started to appreciate like the joy and the freedom that I had with being single. I feel like it takes some time to get there, especially when you truly desire a relationship. And if you have someone tell you like, you know, your singleness is joy, your singleness is like the chance for you to like explore, you're like, I don't want to hear that. Especially if the person is in a relationship, I don't want to hear what you have to say about how singleness is joy. Like, no. But take it from me, just kidding, I was able to understand, or I got to that point or that place of understanding where I'm like, oh my gosh, my singleness, it is joy. Like, it's actually, it gives me a chance to learn more about myself without having someone always next to me. It has made me realize how important like solitude is. I love getting to know myself, because I've said this before in like a plethora of videos, I believe, but I feel as though if you're always surrounded by people, especially when you're dating, if you're always dating somebody and you're always in a relationship, like you go from one relationship to another relationship, I feel like it is harder for you to do self-work and to get to know yourself, because someone is always next to you. Someone's always like in your space, you know? Especially like not having crushes or anything. I have learned so much about myself. I have grown so much as a person during like my singleness, my conscious singleness, if that makes sense. Hold on, I'll explain what that means in a second. Give me my chapstick. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Basically, because there's this point in time where, because I've never had a boyfriend, I kind of just assumed that I would never get married. I didn't really think about my relationship status. I was just like, this is just like, it is what it is, like whatever. It's just probably why also I didn't like look at my singleness like fondly, because I was just like, it's not gonna happen, so like why even like think about it? If this makes any sense, it's kind of like I was living life not realizing or paying attention to like my singleness. I was just like more focused on like working, money, being successful. But then God was like, hey, marriage is cool, right? You want to get married one day? I'm gonna put the desire of marriage on you. And then like the realization again that I was single and that, like, you know, I had no prospects. It kind of like hit me, and then I went through the process of like, oh my gosh, like I hate being single, why am I single, oh my gosh, I'm ugly, to like him bringing me to a place of like joy and finding peace in my singleness. You know, what's a journey? It's not just like you wake up one day like, oh my gosh, being single is so much cute. It's so much cute. But in any case, I got there. We are joyful. It's actually so funny, I made this video already. The video took me like so long to film, and I don't even think I have the footage anymore. But I started the video one way and I ended it a completely different way, because I realized that I actually wasn't happy with being single and I didn't trust God with my relationship. Because it was like, I was like filming and I was like talking, you know, I had my little notes and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this, and then like one night after I got off of work, I was about to go to sleep and I was praying, you know, my little nightly prayers, and it's like God stopped my prayers and he was like, no. And I was like, what's happening? And then all of a sudden I just started sobbing and I started crying, and I was like, I had the realization that the reason why I was struggling so much in my singleness was because I didn't trust God for marriage at any point. I didn't believe that I can get married. I didn't believe that like anyone would like want to be with me. And I was, instead of like going to God with that, I was trying to like act like that wasn't the case. And God was like, girl, you're not happy with you being single because you don't believe that I will give you a husband one day. And I was like, ouch. And it was true. So I think like from then on, that's like when I actually started to experience joy in my singleness, because I have the mindset of course I desire to be in a relationship, and I hope and have faith that God will one day bless me with a loving husband, loving boyfriend, whatever. But I'm not making that my entire personality. Like I'm happy by myself as well. If I never get married and if I never am in a relationship, I'll still be happy. You know, back then I couldn't say that. I would have been frustrated and I would have been upset at God if he didn't give me a husband at any point. But now I don't feel that way. So that's how I like found singleness, that's how I found joy in my singleness. Of course it was different for a lot of people, especially like my non-believers out there. I wonder, if you are happy like in your singleness, like how did you get to that point, Christian or not? I am very curious to know, because it is a journey that you have to kind of like go through. Anyway, okay. My little points, I guess. Again, I don't know how this is gonna like work out. I have no rush to date. My true with Jesus. Hello. Single by choice, truly knowing myself in Christ. Society doesn't determine my value. Yeah, no rush to date is like a good part of it. I believe we as women, society places like a lot of pressure on women to be married and to have children at a certain age and to be in a relationship at a certain age. And if you are single, especially if you're older, I am 30. I'm actually 29, but like, you know, I'm basically 30. For a lot of people, they're like, okay, you're getting to that age, you know, your clock is ticking, like you need to get in a relationship soon, you need to have a child soon. And I never felt rushed up until there was a guy I was really interested in, and I was like rushing it. I was like, God, what's happening? I was like, you know, when's our wedding? Like, why are we not together? At that point I was rushing it, not for any reason, like I was getting older. I wanted it so bad, so I was like trying to rush to like, you know, date this man. Now I have like no rush to like date. And it honestly, even like before like me liking this guy, I remember my mom would always tell me like, men are born every second. Like, there's no rush to date, there's no rush, you're not missing out on anything, so you shouldn't just jump into a relationship because you feel like you have to, because society is telling you you're at this age, you need to like date, you need to like be married, or like if all your girlfriends are getting married or like dating and you're not, you should not feel obligated to just because they are. And I feel like I've always like lived by that. It was only like last year or the year before last that I was like kind of pushing it, and I was like, you know, rushing because I really wanted to like date this person. But now I have like no rush to date anyone. It's so funny though. I remember one of my guy friends, we were talking and he would, you know, ask the question like, why are you so single? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. He was like, you want kids, right? And I was like, well, yeah, like, you know, I hope to have kids one day, like, you know, I'm not rushing it, but that would be cool if I did. And he was like, but you're almost 30.
Oh, wow.
I was like, so? Like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, like, you know, you're getting like up there in age. And I've never had that conversation in real life. I always see people have that conversation, or I hear about other like women's experience with people or men telling them that. I've never experienced it myself up until that point. I wasn't offended by it. I was just like, I mean, it doesn't really matter like to me. Like, and if a guy thinks I'm too old, then like he's not the one. Like, I had no thoughts. I honestly had no thoughts about him telling me that. It's rhetoric like that will have like women rushing into relationships because they feel like they need to, because you're getting older or you're getting whatever, or being in a relationship with someone is such an important, same thing as friendships. I said this in a video too, but I feel like that is, dating someone is so, it's like one of the most important decisions, if not the most important decision like in a person's life. And the fact that society has like tried to force women to just jump into like the next relationship just because they feel like your time is up is crazy. And I will never subscribe to that. Nothing is that important in life where I'm gonna rush decisions and just jump into relationships or situations with people, or relationship with people just because I'm getting older. Like, no. Because then, guys, listen. Okay, so perfect example actually. The no rush to dating. The same guy friend, right? He liked me. I know. He told me he didn't, but then I found out that he did, which is like a situation within itself. But he was really nice looking. He was very nice looking. He was a conventionally attractive man. Blonde hair, blue, like, you know. He was tall. He was nice. I think he was Christian-ish. I don't know. And he really recognized like the small things about me that I was like, Like for example, whenever I go out, if I'm around large crowds of people, or if I'm just out in general, I have a tinge of social anxiety, undiagnosed. But whenever I'm out, I play with my hands. Or if I'm wearing a necklace, I'll fiddle with my necklace. Fidget, not fiddle. Fidget? Fidget? One of those words. But I'll have my necklace and I'll just like play with it, or I'll like play with my hands. And he noticed that. He was like, oh, like, are you okay? He's like, you're playing with your hands. Because we went to the movies. And he was like, you're playing with your hands. Like, do you do that like when you feel like anxious? And I was like... oh my gosh, thank you so much for noticing. Like, wow. And just like other small things that I thought no one paid attention to, like he noticed, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, is he the what? Is this the one that is meant for me? He was younger than me, I know, but I was like, oh my gosh, I think he's the one. And if I was like rushing or trying just to get in a relationship because I felt like, you know, he's checking all the boxes, then I would have just dated this boy. But I didn't date him. Why? Because I knew, one, he wasn't, God like highlighted that he's not the one for you. But I didn't like him. I really didn't. And I really tried to. Like I remember it was like towards like the end of our friendship. I was like, Anna, why don't you like him? Like let's try to like him. And we were at work one day and I was just like looking at him, and because he was like working and he like turned his hat backwards, right? And you know, as a girl, when like guys do that, you'd be like, oh, like it's like something happens to you, the fireworks come out, and it's just like the heart like filter comes and you're just looking at him like, wow, that was really great. Like, did you see that? I thought that was gonna like come about and I would just be like smitten and I would swoon, and then it didn't happen. After like he did that, I was just like, because there was no attraction. Like for me, there wasn't any attraction, and I was so frustrated with myself because I'm like, this guy is perfect on paper. Like, why can't I like this boy? But I didn't. I knew that just because he's there and he checks some boxes or whatever, there's no need to rush the process of me dating, because the guy that I am meant to be with, God willing, he's out there, and like there's no rush. Okay, so that's another thing that I had to like come to terms with, low-key, kind of. Another way that I look at singleness as like a joy is because I'm single by choice. I'm not single because like no one desires me, or like because I'm ugly. It's like I know that he has someone out there for me, and I also know that the men around me are not it. So why would I actively just date people knowing that God does not want me to be with those people? You know, even like for like people that aren't followers of Christ, it's like, you know when you shouldn't be with somebody, so why are you dating that person? Is it just to say like I'm dating someone? Like, that's not enough for me. That's not enough. I would rather say that I'm single by choice and I'm actively waiting, you know, until I meet my special person, than to just date a whole bunch of guys just because like I'm trying to like fill up space. If I wanted a boyfriend, I can get a boyfriend, but I don't want just anyone, you know? I'm not asking for too much. I just want Prince Charming, you know? Like, I want my 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot, like nerdy boy. That's all I want. Like, I'm not asking for too much. Who also like wouldn't mind me like talking forever. Who also like will appreciate and support my relationship with God, you know? Like, who's also good at video games. Like, you know, it's just like I don't ask for too much. Like, another thing too, I never really had a list when it comes to dating, or like how I want him to look. I really don't. I don't have a list. I know like for Christians, they're like, oh, you know, write down like what you want God, how you want, what do they say? like the husband that you want, like you write it down and like God can like give you all of like what you write down. But like honestly, no. I think if I do have a list, it's like personality stuff, like, oh, honest, loyal, supports my relationship with Christ, protective, provider, like things like that. I don't have like physical stuff. If anything, I'll just say tall. I've also found joy in my singleness because of my relationship with Christ. I came back to Christ like a few years ago. Maybe I'll do a video on it. I don't know if I feel led to yet. I was able to experience God's love, which has helped me want to love others. And I think before I came to Christ, I really didn't know how to love people properly. And I also, when it came to thinking about relationships and like marriage and all that stuff, I just was thinking about the good stuff, like the cute stuff, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, couple goals, like pictures, oh my gosh, boyfriend tag. I wasn't really thinking about like the hardships or just how to love on someone, how to, you know, do things for your partner. Because honestly, before being back into my relationship with Christ, I was so turned off from like relationships. The thought of like a man like being near me was like revolting. I didn't want it at all. I didn't want children either. I wanted money. Yeah, there was no like domesticness about me. There really wasn't. Like, I was the type of person where I was like, well, why can't a guy just get up and do it? Like, he can get up and cook his own food. I don't want to have to do it for him. I don't want to have to do things for you. Like, you're an adult. And I feel like I have learned that like that's love. Like, that is showing someone love. Not like you slaving over like that person or slaving over your husband or like, you know, whatever, but making their plate, cooking for them, like, I don't know, cleaning up for them, doing this laundry. That's like, that's cute. Like, that's love, you know. And I was able to like learn that during my singleness and, you know, spending time with God. And I was like, oh, that's cute. So now I can't wait to love someone's son, to like want to cook for them, right? Gotta drink my lipstick. This is all over the place. My mom and I were just talking about this. I don't think dating is hard now if you know yourself and if you have certain standards and you know exactly what you want. I don't believe dating is hard because, you know, right now we're in like a hookup culture. Everyone wants to hook up. No one wants to be like in an intimate relationship. Everyone is like, or a lot of people are like standoffish, nonchalant, like they're too cool to like text first, and like men and women are battling constantly. Me, I am a virgin. Shout out to my virgins. Hey, how are we doing? I feel like because one of my I'm not bulging. Is it bulging? That's not the right, bulging, okay. I'm not budging on that. Like, I'm keeping my virginity until marriage. That is my goal. And for me in this dating world, because I'm trying to enter the dating world, you guys, like, I'm really trying, but like God won't let me like do anything, you know. And I don't know why. It's not that he's not letting me do anything, but I have no desires of like getting on Tinder or like Bumble. I always download a dating app. Not always. I'll download it and then I'll delete it in like an hour because I just don't feel the need to be on it. And then I'm just like swiping like this. I'm just like, even like the really cute guys, like the really attractive guys, I'm just like, it's like I desire to date, but I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. And then he does give me ideas. But anyway, I feel like because I'm a virgin and because I am holding out until marriage, that honestly makes dating easier, not harder. Because any man that does not support genuinely, because you know some guys, they'll be like, oh, that's so cool, I respect that, like, yeah. And then like a week later, they're like, so how hell-bent are you on, you know, being that virgin or like, you know, that can change your mind, or are you sure? What if you don't know if like they're good at it? I've had so many conversations with people regarding my virginity and why, like, what is the point of being a virgin. I had my one guy friend, he told me, you're still doing that? And I'm like, what, being a virgin? Yeah, I'm still doing that. Like, why would I not? Why would I just give it up just because? And my other friend was like, but what if the guy is bad at sex, and then what? And I'm like, I wouldn't know, because it's the first, like, I understand the importance of sex. I do understand that. However, I don't believe that the way someone treats you should be under their ability in the bedroom. Me personally, that's just not, you can be great in the bedroom and then treat me like crap, then what? You know, with me being a virgin, I do feel like that can make dating easier, because no matter if I like the guy so much or not, if you don't respect me wanting to wait until marriage, then like clearly like you're not the right one, and I can keep it pushing. It can get tricky because if I do like someone a lot and they're not okay with like the virgin thing, I'd be like, oh great, like this sucks. I thought you were different. I had another guy friend tell me, like, men, they won't do that. Men don't want to wait for that. It's so crazy because, okay, so before he told me that, right, when I was still trying to think about if I liked him, it's that guy. I was still debating, I'm like, God, like, you know, do I like him? Is he the one? Like, you know, give me a sign if he's the one. Like, I want to know, because he's checking all the boxes, like, hello. And I think the next day we were having this conversation, and later on the Lord was like, yeah, look it, he's not okay with, like, he wouldn't want to wait until like marriage. Not saying that the guy has to be a virgin. I assume that whoever I end up with will not be a virgin, but God showed me, like, he's not okay with your decision to wait until marriage. And I was like, oh my gosh, that he's not the one. And God's like, yeah, I know, so stop trying to make him the one. I feel like things like that is just like, you have to change your perspective. Instead of thinking that dating is so hard because your standards are so high, think of it as like, no, this actually will be easier, because that means many of the men that I talk to are not the right ones. I just have to find the one that, you know. But even then, it's like you have to have discernment when it comes to that, because a guy, you know, men, you know, the way I said that was so like, you know, those creatures. But a lot of men will just say things that you want to hear to get what they want from you. But that's why you have to be smart. You can't let your guard down. It's like you're going to war. Yeah, you have to just be really smart about the decisions that you make. Like, if you, like, for me, if I made the decision to wait until marriage, then I should hold that until marriage. I shouldn't like relax my standards just because the guy is doing everything right the first few months or whatever. Does that make sense? Like, if you have a rule, what is it, the 90-day rule, whatever, that's your rule, right? And then you tell the guy that, and then he's like, oh yeah, oh cool, I agree. And you're like, oh my gosh, really? And then he's doing everything right. You're going on dates, he's texting you, he's paying for you, like whatever. And if it's before the 90 days, don't just give yourself to him just because like he's doing everything right. Like, no, continue, be strong in your standards, you know. Men finding me attractive, weird. Yes, it was like during this weird moment at work where when I was talking to my guy friend, he let it be known that a lot of men at work actually thought I was pretty or whatever. And I was like, because growing up, that was never me. You know, all of my friends were like dating someone or like in a relationship with someone, and I was like never sought after. I was never sought after. I came to the conclusion, that's what I'm trying to say. I came to the conclusion that men just weren't attracted to me. That obviously is not the case, and I feel like if you yourself have that thought, you're one, thinking negatively about yourself and trying to push that narrative onto other people. And if they act a certain way that proves your negative mindset, you're like, oh, what I said was true. Does that make sense? So for an example, I was talking to this guy and and I was projecting my insecurity onto him so that no matter what he did, if he didn't say hi to me, I would be like, I see he doesn't like you because you're ugly. Yeah, that also made singleness unenjoyable because I thought I was single because I was just a horrible, gross human being. And actually, that just wasn't the case. I'm telling you, singleness, it really is joy. You just have to change your perspective, and you also have to decenter men. I know the TikTok girlies are saying that so much. Like, you have to decenter men. And like, while that is annoying, it is truth to that. However, the people that are claiming to always decenter men, they're not even doing it. Because if you're truly decentering men, you are not focused on what men are doing. You are genuinely focused on your own life, you know? You can desire a relationship but still decenter men. That two things can coexist, and I feel like I have finally reached that. Finally. The second that I decentered men, also did genuine self-work of dealing with my insecurities, dealing with my self-confidence, dealing with weight issues and how I saw myself. That clicked in my head, like, oh, okay, that situation with that guy didn't work out, not because I am some beast and like, you know, I'm like freaking Shrek, but it didn't work out because he wasn't the right one. That relationship or that potential relationship failing or not starting is not a result of like my like lack. It's just a result of like he wasn't the right one, which is okay. And I keep it pushing. I keep focusing on myself. I use that example though, or I use that situation as a way to see where I am lacking in certain areas though. Like, I think that's a good thing to do. My singleness is not a result. It's not because I am just like gross, which is what a lot of people tell themselves. It's like, no, it's not my time. Like, it genuinely isn't, and that is okay. During my season of singleness, I do self-help. I look at where I can like become better. I find more hobbies. I love a good hobby. I am a hobby queen. I'm a hobby hoarder. Like, I love hobbies. Trying to date in a hookup culture world, it's not impossible. As naive as people may think that I am for believing this, I believe that I will have like a fairy tale like ending in regards to dating. I don't believe that my standards are too high, and I believe that there is a guy out there, there's a man out there who checks all of the boxes that God has for me, because I don't have any boxes. I don't know any boxes. You know how like people be like, you know, fairy tale stories, they're not real. Like, this perfect guy who will treat you like a princess, like, that's not real. Like, I am one to believe that it actually is real, and I believe that I will get it when, I don't know. I have faith and believe that there is a gentleman out there in this hookup culture world. Don't let what you see online deter you from wanting a pure love. That's one thing I've always prayed to God regarding my future boyfriend or husband. The thing I was saying was basically dating in a hookup cultured world, it may seem like intimidating, and it may seem that like what you desire is unrealistic. It's not impossible. It really isn't. And I don't let what I see deter me from believing that I can find a love that is pure. When I do pray about relationships, I always pray that I experience a pure love with this person. It's so crazy because like when I pray that, I know what I mean, but I also don't know what I mean. But I always pray, I pray that our hearts are just pure for one another, and that we just truly see each other, not just necessarily for looks, but just like we see each other's heart. You know, a relationship that's not just built off of like lust and like physical stuff. Obviously, I want to be attracted to my person. I want him to be attracted to me, but I'm not solely looking just on the, like, The looks are important, yes. I'm not gonna be like, looks are not important. They are important because you have to be attracted to that person to want to talk to them. Like, hello. One thing, okay, the one thing that I really do pray for, or I've prayed about, was a guy that sees me and sees all of my quirks and is okay with them, because I know you're paying attention to like me. You're paying attention to when I feel overwhelmed, or if I'm really anxious, or like, I can't lie, I'm surprised I didn't like swoon. Like, I'm surprised I didn't date my guy friend when he would do stuff like that. That really meant a lot to me, because I was like, oh my gosh, you're actually paying attention to like me and not just like the way that I look, or like, you know, whatever. I constantly remind myself there are still good men out there, no matter what you see. I know there's like red pill content or like whatever, and it can discourage you. It genuinely can, because it can feel as though like, oh my gosh, like men are just getting trashier and trashier. And trust me, I agree, but I also have hope for a guy who is above my standards to enter my life, and I feel like you should be the same when it comes to that. Do not let the horror of social media get you to settle, to lower your standards, or just to simply give up. Like, I don't care how old you are, like, do not do that. Do not. There are good people out there. There are good men out there. There's good women out there. You know what's so interesting? I feel like dating can be considered hard because women get attached really quickly. Oh my gosh, what was I saying? That's like where I went wrong a few times too, is like I just got attached too fast. Instead of just trying to collect like data and just simply get to know a person, I was like, so our first chat was great, which means we are on the path to dating, which means we're also on the path of getting married. Like, after one talk, I was like, so this is my husband, which is not true. So I think like just being able to go with the flow with a guy, go with the flow with like the thought of like, this may not be my boyfriend, this may not be my husband, but I'm just kind of vibing right now. I'm collecting data. I'm just getting to know this person. I feel like that also will make dating a little bit easier. When you go in having expectations so quickly, like after one date, you're like, so we're married. Like, okay, guys, he's the one. Where's my wedding dress? It's like, I just go so fast. Like, I'm telling you, after like a few days of talking, I'm like, I think this is the one. I think he's the one. Yeah, and it's like, no, babe, he actually isn't. You guys just start talking. You don't even know this man. Or even like a crush. We have to remember, a crush is just a lack of information when it comes to men. Because most of the time, it's not even like what the guy is doing that makes us have a crush. It's our idea of him. Like, oh, this last guy that I really liked, you guys, right? I love this man. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's so great. He's so nerdy. He's so like, Turns out he was none of those things. It was all my own envisions of how I thought he was. He was nothing like I thought he was. Like, at all. And then I had the nerve to be disappointed. I was like, what do you mean you're not a nerd? He's like, girl, I've never said I was a nerd. And I was like, yeah, but like, you do nerd things, right? And he was like, no. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean you go out to party? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So if you let go of that, just get to know the person. Go with the flow. I'm talking to myself as well. I feel like that will also make dating a little bit easier during these crazy times. Stop having expectations. Stop having the expectation that every man you talk to is your husband. That will also help a lot too. Anyway, in conclusion, you know, I am happy. I don't know where this video went. It's, you know, this is the first episode of let's just have a little cute little chat. I wasn't expecting too much. So I hope this was fun. I don't know what this is again. I hope this was entertaining to some degree. And let's talk in the comments, my single people. Tell me about your singleness. Let's have a chit chat. Because we are single, we have no one else. I'm just kidding. But yeah, okay. Yeah. What else should I talk about?